Okay, so welcome to the Home Trails podcast hosted by me, Ultra Running Sam. Now, if you're new to the podcast, then I'll explain what we do. We're a UK-based trail and ultra running podcast that deals with trail running, ultra running around the world, focused mainly on the UK scene. So you will find us out and about at races. So we have a podcast in residence series. So in January, we were at the Spine race. In May, we were at the Lap in the Lake District. And in September, we were up in the Lake District again, doing 13 valleys. So check out those podcasts in residence. We also have the documentary series, Home Trails, so starting with Jasmine Paris, Jack Scott, Kim Collison, Lucy Gossage. So go out and check out those feature-length interview documentary style podcast videos that they're on YouTube. So check them out. And there's audio versions as well. So dive into the content if you're new to the show. Go into the back catalogue and see those episodes. Hope you enjoy the show. So we'll move on swiftly to our next guest. Right, we are recording. So welcome back to the podcast, Dan Weller. Now it would have been the Ultra Running Sam podcast back then, but now we've rebranded as the Home Trails podcast. So welcome back to the Home Trail, first appearance on the Home Trails podcast, but second time on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for having me back, or having me for the first time, depending on how you look.
I think I'm confusing myself too much. I just need to just like stick with it. And because someone the other day was like, "Oh yeah, the Ultra Running," and I was like, "No, stop calling it that. It's the Home Trails podcast now." I'm getting more and more confused as time goes on. But welcome to the Home Trails podcast for the second time. Yeah, we'll stick to our guns. Yeah, so
yeah, cheers.
So the last time you were on, it was May. When was it? May 2024.
That sounds right. Yeah, about 18 months ago. Yeah.
So I think you'd won Challenger South, hadn't you? In the January.
Yeah.
Right? In the January. And then you just won Pennine Barrier 50. And I think that's when you came on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just after that. So yeah. So what have you been up to since then?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just carrying on with the same things I've been doing for quite a few years now. Just jumping into a lot of UK ultras, really. But yeah, I definitely felt like, well, I'm sure we'll get on to this, but I just raced Wendover Woods a couple of days ago, and I didn't really feel like I'd had a really good race since Pennine Barrier. So you've picked the timing well to have me back on, because I feel like I actually have a race that I'm properly happy with, like completely. I've had some results I'm happy with, but the performances not so much. So yeah, it's good to
2024 was a good year, wasn't it, for you? You like won everything that you entered, basically, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember what I did after Pennine Barrier. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
what did you do after that?
The next thing I can remember. Yeah, next thing I can remember is ARC in 2025, which
yeah, that was the start of this year. That was then. Yeah. So how did that go then?
It didn't. I mean, it didn't go terribly. I didn't feel great at the beginning of the race, and my legs just felt off for the first few hours of the race, and I was really considering dropping out. But then things sort of came around, and I actually had a really good last 3/4 of the race, I guess. But it was just so much more competitive than that race has been in the past. So even having like a somewhat decent race, I was well off I was over an hour back from the leaders, but granted, that's that was like Tom Evans and
yes, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a little bit it was a bit humbling, because I didn't have my best race, but even if I had my best race, I would have been a long way back. So it was definitely a bit of an eye opener, and but yeah, you need those sometimes. You need to have races where you get your butt kicked a bit.
I was going to say, how do you feel about that? Because, because from the outside, people looking in see like your race resume and like, winning all these races like through 2024, and then you have that happen in 2025. It
Mm.
for the outside person, we would be, oh, I would sort of look at that and think, oh, we just sort of like shrug it off, but does it affect you?
Yeah, no, it does. It's definitely there are times if you think about it too much or in the wrong way, it can be a little bit demoralizing for sure. But but yeah, I mean, everyone has bad races too, and I'm not even saying that was a bad race, but um, yeah, it also just goes to show how many different levels there are in ultra racing. Like, it really depends what kind of race you jump into and how competitive you're going to be. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think I actually didn't race far off my sort of like UTMB index in terms of like the score I got at the end of the race. Although I think a lot of people were sort of saying it was a little bit maybe underscored, especially towards the front. And then, but yeah, I mean, I pretty much raced like what my ranking said I would have raced. But yeah, you always go into the race kind of hoping like, oh, maybe this one I'm gonna, I'll beat some of the guys that are ahead of, ranked ahead of me. But that's really hard to do. You just have to, because people get those rankings for a reason. Um, so yeah, no, it's always hard to be humbled, but it's necessary, I think.
Mm.
And yeah, and then later that year I did well, this year I did Fellsman, which is a race I uh really like. I really like the atmosphere, and it's kind of a low key old school race run by the
Mm.
Scouts, if anyone's not familiar with it. Um and again, well, just had a really tough second half of that race. My legs were pretty destroyed by the second half. Just wasn't really what's the word? I wasn't really conditioned for the downhills. So I hung on for third, but it was very unpleasant. Uh, and then pretty much exactly the same thing happened at Lakeland 50. Although maybe there I just went out a little too hard, and then again hung on for third in a sort of very painful sprint finish. So sprint like a very slow sprint. But so I've had some like good results that I'm happy
Mm.
with this year, but like I've said, the performances weren't really coming together. So it was really nice to have this last weekend where things came together a little better.
Yeah, yeah. So sort of for people that don't know the race, then Centurion race, then what's it? Because whenever I see pictures of it, I only ever see people. Obviously, it's called Wendover Woods, isn't it? And you see everybody running through the woods, and there's leaves on the ground. Is
Yeah.
that literally the whole course is like that because it's looped?
Pretty much. I mean, there are basically, you go through two fields in the whole loop. Basically, everything else is just woodland hills. There are very few flat sections. It's mostly just like mostly runnable gradients. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but Drew Sheffield, who's like one of the main guys at Centurion, I'm pretty sure he designed the route, and I think he sort of designed it to make it so that you could probably get like as much climbing as you could on that course, and do it as fast as possible. So like a lot of the climbing is on steep ups, and then you have like nice runnable downhill gradients. So I love the course. It's like I think of it as kind of like a sort of Formula One ultra
Mm.
course, because you're constantly turning and changing pace, and that's the kind of running that I often do. I mean, the race is in the Chilterns. That's where I do most of my training. So
Mm.
I feel really at home on courses like that. Um, and yeah, it's a really good atmosphere. Like if you're at the front, you start going past people on your third lap, um, who are on their second lap, I guess. Um, and yeah, you kind of cheer them on, they cheer you on. It's just two checkpoints that you keep alternating between. So the sort of start finish, and then there's one at just over 5 miles. So yeah, it's just very simple. You just got to do 5 loops, and but yeah, it's a hard race too, though, because you have to run a lot of it if you want to do well. You have to run
Mm.
almost all of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that sort of format then, of the loops and stuff, would that sort of be, you can imagine like Golden Trail wanting to come in and sort of have that as one of their, because they love a good loops, like
Well, yeah,
flower
yeah,
formation thing.
yeah. I don't know.
It's not tech, is it not technical enough for a Golden Trail? I don't know that they wouldn't do.
Probably not. And I don't. Yeah, I don't know if because I don't know if Centurion would pair because they're already sort of paired up with World Trail Majors. Whether that
Yeah,
would be.
yeah,
Um,
a conflict, isn't it? Yeah.
but yeah, it's probably not quite the kind of terrain that they're looking for those Golden Trail races either. But who knows? I'm not an expert on Golden Trail, to be fair.
Who is?
Well, yeah,
I struggle to
they're
follow
def-
it.
yeah, those guys are a lot
Yeah,
faster than
yeah,
me. I like the long stuff where I can go a bit slower.
yeah, me too.
Mm.
So how did you sort of prep for this then? So with it being fairly local to you, then is this sort of trails that you can get to dead easy then?
Yeah, it's depending on traffic. If I drive out there, it maybe takes me 45 minutes to an hour. So I went out. I can't remember if I think I went out twice before. Yeah, twice before the race. I did the race in 2019 as well, so
Mm.
I knew the course pretty well, but then got reacquainted with it this year. So I did a few specific runs out there before the race, and yeah, just trying to get in kind of good consistent training, a lot of stuff in the chill turns, and tried to focus on running hills, which is really important for that race. And yeah, had really good training, I think. I sort of since Lakeland started working closely with a coach, a
Mm.
centurion coach named Sarah Cameron, and she's really been helping me sort of like address some of my weaknesses and some of the like blind spots in my training. So yeah, I feel like that's really made some like fairly significant changes in a short time.
Mm. So is there anything that you're happy to talk about that you've changed sort of thing then?
Yeah, so one of the first things we did, so this um we sort of started working together right after Lakeland. So I'd been doing a lot of mileage. I'd done I think in June and early July, I was like averaging 100-mile weeks type
Mm.
things. That was quite high for me. So I felt really fit in some ways, but I was like unbelievably slow if I was trying to do any kind of speed stuff or um and like if I tried to sprint or anything close to that, like my hamstrings were too tight to even do it.
Mm.
So yeah, we worked a lot on just like speed form. So I say we worked a lot. I mean, we didn't have tons of time to do it, so I think we're going to keep touching on this. But we did some sprint training, like uphill sprinting, um, like VO2 max stuff that I neglect. Like I know that I need to do it, but having someone put it on a calendar for you and tell you to do it, it does make it. It means that you actually make the time to do it, at least for me.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know I need to do it, and I will, when I was just doing it on my own, I would do the occasional VO2 max workout, but it's so easy to just be like, oh, well, I have the time today. I'm going to put in more miles and I'll
Mm.
push that back to another day. And when you do that too often, then you're not actually doing the hard workouts frequently enough to like get the stimulus. Um, so yeah, I think those would probably be the two main things that in terms of like training changes. I've also like again sort of I mean I was already looking into it a bit, but it was also a lot down to her advice. I've been trying to do like more heat training, um, which I think is good for me because I hate the heat. So I think yeah, I get a lot out of training that because it's a real weakness of mine. And I was even doing that in the run up to Wendover, which was not a hot race, but I think
Mm.
it just gives you general fitness. So it
It's a lot of
helps.
research. There's a lot of research into that now, isn't there? Into like heat training, not just for hot races, just generally doing it to get your so it affects your blood plasma levels, doesn't it, and everything. So it
Yeah,
pushes everything up, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say exact. I mean, I think I am noticing the benefits. Like, I usually find in like once winter approaches, my resting heart rate jumps up a bit, even if I'm training the same amount. But I've noticed with like the heat training, my resting heart rate has stayed a bit lower, like it
Mm.
tends to be in the summer. So I think that's like a clear sign that
Mm.
it is doing something physiologically. No
Yeah.
surprise there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What else are you taking on board? So obviously, since the last time we spoke, it's been like the new carb revolution, hasn't it? Which is obviously it's kind of it's old news, isn't it? Carbs. It's
Yeah.
kind of like obvious, wasn't it, that you should have as many carbs as you could stomach. But now there's a real focus on it. So where do you sit in that camp now then?
Yeah, I mean, I try to eat quite a lot on races. I think that is kind of like that's one of the most important things, being able to stomach a lot of carbohydrate. I'm not I'm not religious about trying to hit like 120 or
Mm.
130 grams of carb an hour. I go out with a general plan to try and maybe I'd probably aim for between 90 and 120 per hour, and I really go off of feel. So if I,
Mm.
sometimes you might be aiming for 120 an hour and your stomach just doesn't want that
Mm.
and you have to back off. So I'll try and make sure that I have enough to be able to do 120 an hour, but I don't force it if it's not feeling right because I've had a few experiences of late where I'm trying to push it too much and then yeah, push it, but especially pushing it too much too early then means that you really don't want it later in the race. So I go more by feel, I think, than a lot of people do these days, or a lot of people who are talking a lot about carbs these days.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I try and eat a lot in on long run training, in long runs while I'm training as well. So I do think you have to train it a bit. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's one of those things that's so like individual, isn't it, to you specifically as a person that you don't really it's just saying everybody should be doing like 100, doesn't always fit. And I was speaking to Charlotte Fisher, who's
Mm.
just come back from Mallorca, and she was saying that she before made that mistake of just cramming in too many carbs and aiming for like 80 to 90 an hour or something, and realizing that her body just can't take it on board and dropping down and feeling much better for it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, and again, we'll come on to Spine Challenger, but like if you tried to carry 120 carbs per hour for Spine Challenger, you'd uh,
It's a lot of
you need like
carbs.
a shopping trolley or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Lindley will add that to the kit list, a shopping trolley to carry all to carry all of your carbs.
Yeah, yeah. I struggle to even just carry the bare minimum for that's stretch from Hebden to the finish. So yeah, it's you've got to choose between how much you carry and how much you want to consume.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those. Right, we'll come to the spine. Don't get me on the
Yes,
spine
yeah.
too early.
Uh-oh, yeah, yeah,
It's not supposed to be a spine podcast. This is supposed to be Wendover Woods,
yeah, yeah.
but we
Well,
will,
yeah,
but we will
we can
go
do a bit
there.
of both. Do a bit of both.
Yeah. So how does that work? How does sort of taking on fueling then work for Wendover then, with it being sort of like sharp and short and sharp climbs and stuff? When are you managing to, because of like the normal thing in an ultra is like when you're taking a hiking break, that's a great time to sort of take carbs on, isn't it? But if you're doing like short and sharp, fast hills, when do you sort of time your fuel?
So for me, I don't really care that much if I'm going uphill or downhill.
Mm,
For me, it really just needs to be um, something that it's got to be like a section where you're going straight for a bit. It's not too technical, um, and it's not hard to like deal with a wrapper or opening something up.
mm,
So I guess for me, a lot of times it will be like a very gradual, long climb. That's where I like to eat. Can maybe be a little bit harder to breathe and stuff while you're doing that, but
mm.
um, yeah, the race is really well set up for getting your nutrition and hydration nailed though, because you're coming back through the start finish every 10 miles and you can access a drop bag
Mm.
every time you go through. Um, so I mean, granted, I didn't do that, but you can get all your own, you can bring exactly what you want and access it every 10 miles. But they also have really well stocked checkpoints, so you can just yeah. But yeah, I like to use a mixture of, so I'll take a mixture of Voom bars,
Mm.
like take salt through the Voom bars, salt tablets, get caffeine through the Voom bars, and then I'll just take whatever else at checkpoints to supplement. They serve like tailwind and precision
Mm.
hydration stuff at those checkpoints. So you can basically just, yeah, you're just really well looked after in those races. So it makes it much easier to to yeah, get things
Get
right.
what you need. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can imagine because when you do like a local ultra and it's everything's from not nothing wrong with Aldi. We shop at
No,
Aldi. It's all Aldi chocolate bars and stuff, and
exactly. And
not always fit.
you're drinking Coke like halfway through or like something cola.
Roller
God
cola.
knows how much. Yeah, exactly. It it's not quite the same as having like the proper stuff that's
Yeah,
like
having
measured out
yeah.
as it should be.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not cheap stuff, is it? Like Tailwind and Precision Hydration and your Voom
No.
bars and stuff. It's all, obviously, if you get stuff given to you, that's one thing, isn't it? But if you're so that's yeah, and I suppose having that consistency of keeping going back to the checkpoint again, you can try. I suppose, obviously if you're dialed in and you know what you're doing, but for other people, you could use it as a sort of an opportunity to kind of test stuff out on each lap, couldn't you? See what
Yeah.
works, what doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're allowed a big drop bag, so you can just have have lots of options there and go with whatever feels right at the time. So yeah, I think I love the race. It's the second time I've done it. I understand some people might think doing 5 laps, 5 10 mile laps in the forest might not be exciting, but I think if you want to just like really dial in an effort and do your best on a hilly course, I think it's a really good venue for that. Yeah, so I highly recommend the race.
Yeah. They know what they're doing. I still haven't done a Centurion race, but they know what they're doing, don't they? And
Yeah,
they seem to put a race on for every type of person, every type of race that you could ever want. Yeah.
yeah,
I need to get
yeah,
down there.
yeah. You should. You really should. They're great.
Should.
Um, yeah,
Um, so go on then, but let's talk about the spine. So we're gonna go there.
yeah, yeah,
Obviously, it wouldn't be the Home Trials podcast without talking about the spine race. So I'd sort of mentioned to a few people that are kind of getting in early with, because I'm also on the start line for Challenger South. I'm not going to be able to sort of do the usual things that I do around the race, sort of doing media and stuff and putting out podcasts for that. So I'm going to sort of chatting to people beforehand to try and so this is probably the official start of spine season now. It's getting earlier and earlier every year. So we're only in
yeah.
November and it's already spine mess as far as I'm concerned. So how are you feeling coming back to the race that you won 2 years ago. How are you feeling, on reflection of how that performance went and how you're feeling going into this year?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, definitely. When I signed up, the start list was a bit different than it is now. Because I mean, I basically signed up as soon as last year's Spine series was over.
Mm.
I think as soon as the emails went out, I was like, yeah, I'm in. And yeah, I pretty much knew that I was going to do Challenger again. I think you and others have asked if I wanted to jump up to the full Spine, and I probably will, but that's still I think that's still a few years off. And even Challenger North, that's a significant jump up in distance. And I don't think uh, it's not that I don't think I could do it. It's just that I
Mm.
don't think that's where I want,
Mm.
still 110, 112 miles Challenger South. That is a long way. So that's kind of the max in terms of distance that I'm thinking about at this point. And yeah, again, Challenger South was like a great result, but it I wasn't that happy with how the race actually went for me. Like uh the last 25 miles were completely miserable.
Mm.
I was genuinely crying up on the Cam High Road, like just bonking incredibly hard, just wanting to be anywhere but up there. Um so I don't have I love the route, but I don't have great memories of the end of that race. So I always wanted to go back and kind of have a better
Mm.
experience. Because yeah, when I got to the finish, people were like clapping and saying well done, and I was just like I was properly down about the whole thing, which just felt ridiculous. But yeah, and then this the race is just going to be way more competitive this year, which
Mm.
is quite different to when I ran it. There were some other good runners in it, but I think I ended up having like an over a 2 hour lead at the end. Uh, this time, I think I would have to be very, yeah, basic. Well, we know that at the moment, Jack Scott, Mark Derbyshire, they're both in it. Um, we're both in it. Um, Sean Merriweather, I just saw today. He posted that he'd be doing it. He's another strong runner. I'm sure that there are other people I haven't checked the list recently, but that's a very different race dynamic. So
Mm.
to be honest, I was I'm quite happy that it's that way. Like I'd rather have more competition in there, and it's nice to know that Challenger South is getting that kind of
Recognition.
exactly, because
Mm.
it's always been kind of looked at
Mm.
as I think like the little
Yeah.
sister race or something. Or but I mean the course record is stout on that course, and I think. I would guess Jack and Mark are both thinking about that record. You have
I
to
know
have,
Jack. I know Jack's definitely thinking about the record because
yeah,
if you've seen any of his Instagram posts, he's
yeah,
talking about his previous. He did a post about his previous 2 times getting to that point, and
yeah,
you could see he was obviously sort of like saying, "This was my time the first year. This is my time the
yeah,
second year," and then sort of leaving it like kind of like question mark. What am I going to do this time? Kind of thing. So I think he is going for the record. A bit of inside information, but it's not actually inside information because he made a post about it. Mark Derbyshire is struggling with a bit of a hip injury, isn't he? So
mm,
this is public knowledge. This isn't me sort of going because I have
yeah,
been messaging him today
yeah,
about coming on the podcast, and he said he doesn't want to come on yet because he's not 100% sure whether he's doing the race or not. So
yeah, yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have said that on the
No, no,
podcast
I think you're right. He put that out there. So
today. Yeah.
I don't think you're outing him. Yeah. Um, I don't know. He seems to have some pretty miraculous powers of recovery. So I,
Maybe it's just mind games. Maybe it's just like saying, "Oh, I've got a bad hip. I'm not going to be very
yeah.
fast," and
Well,
then it's
yeah.
just
No, I think he does genuinely have a bad hip, but I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there, and I think he'll be strong. Um, but yeah, I mean, it completely depends on conditions too, because
yeah,
no
yeah,
one, no one in the world was going to run a course record last year.
no,
So you have to have a at least an average year in terms of conditions
mm,
to have any chance of that record, I think.
yeah.
Um,
Because there was
so
the year before, so this year just gone was snow,
Mm.
wasn't it? January was like full on deep snow. The year
yeah,
before was kind of miserly and rainy, wasn't it? But there was snow, wasn't there? But it was further up, wasn't it? The snow
yeah. I mean,
year
it was pretty
2024.
good. It was pretty good when I did it. Probably a bit of a missed opportunity there. But yeah, it's
So the
like
chances are that it's not going to be. Well, the chances are it's not going to be deep snow. In theory, like law of averages, you wouldn't think that it would be deep snow this time. So
yeah,
is it
yeah.
going to be
Don't know.
runnable?
Anything can happen, can't it? It's
That's
what
true.
almost 2 months out. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's unlikely to be quite like last year again.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's definitely
you could have driving rain, couldn't you? Driving rain and wind, which
yeah,
would
which is the worst
yeah,
possible thing that you could ever have in it. Yeah, I know. When I did when I did the full winter spine, that was 2024, January
yeah,
2024. I went out and did one of my last training runs. I just went out at midnight on a Friday night, and it was like torrential rain. It was freezing cold, and I ran through the night and did like 50 miles, and it was like absolutely horrific. It was the worst training run I'd ever done. And I told a few people about it, and they were just like, why on earth would you choose to do that to set out at midnight on Friday night in the rain? I was
yeah,
like, well, that's the reality of what you've got to do. Like when you want to be inside and you want to be warm, you got to
yeah,
get yourself together and go out the door and go into horrific weather. So if you can do that, then just a bit of if it's just like a bit of like mizzle or a little bit of light rain and cold and stuff, then you're like it's happy days, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think you got to do a few of those runs that like take you out of your comfort zone in training to get ready for the race. You don't have to do it all the time, but sometimes definitely.
Yeah. You were sort of saying about literally crying on the Cam High Road.
Yeah,
That that bit is the way that it's kind of structured with the checkpoints is it feels like it's a real punishment, doesn't it? Because it feels like you get to Hebden really quick, don't you? Like in it's in reality it's not really quick, but in the
uh,
course of the race it is quick. You get there, you're at
yeah,
Hebden. You don't need anything other than maybe you might have like a bit of food or something and change a bit of kit, and then you're out the door again. But
yeah,
you're out into like 60 plus miles of nothing, aren't you? Where you've got
yeah,
like just safety
yeah,
checkpoints.
yeah,
There's no like shining beacon of a checkpoint like halfway between there and the finish. You literally once you're out, that's it. Once you're out of Hebden, you're gone, aren't you? And there's maybe that there's the is it who puts on the one where it's a tent outside a pub? Can't remember who
The
puts that on.
Calling Tri Club, I think. Is
That's
that
it.
it?
Yeah, it's
Calling Tri
the
Club. Yeah.
triathlon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I should have made better use of that little stop. And there were a few other people who had
Did you stop there? Did you stop there?
briefly, yeah. I not sure how ready they were when I got that. They made me like a courgette um like grilled courgette in a bun, but there was really nothing else on it. So I took a few bites and I was like, this is not doing the trick.
Are you vegetarian or vegan then?
I am, yeah, I'm veggie.
Right.
So yeah, I think they had a few other things ready, but
So I think I had a bacon sandwich when I got there.
yeah, yeah, the bacon sandwich would have tasted a lot nicer, but yeah, I've got to follow my rules even when I'm hungry. Um, but but yeah, and then there were a few other people who had just set up, set up stuff at the back of their cars. I
Mm.
can't remember exactly where, but there were some other points where people gave support. And then there's obviously that Malham Tarn
Mm.
safety checkpoint where they'll do you a hot drink at least. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely will try and approach that checkpoint a bit differently this year because I spent too long in there, like sort of sitting, not moving, having hot chocolate, and then
Mm.
going back out into the cold was just I'd completely seized up and just trying to get moving again after that. I think I'd have been better off just like taking a bit and going quickly
Mm.
because if you're doing full spine, then yeah, take your time there because you still have long way to go. But
Mm.
in Spine Challenger, you've only got 25 miles to go from there,
Yeah,
so you
it
don't
feels
want to
like you're
see.
almost there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like you're almost there, but you're also a marathon away, which is yeah, but you don't want to seize up right there, which is what
Yeah.
happened to me. So I
Mm.
won't do that again.
Is that that it's just a safety checkpoint, isn't it? It's not a cluster. Can you stay? Is that one of the ones that you can only stay in for like 20 minutes or something then? I can't
Maybe,
quite
yeah,
remember.
I don't think I pushed the limits of 20 minutes, but I just sat in there and they made me some hot chocolate and it's yeah, it's just behind that like sort of big stately home on the edge of
Yeah, that's it.
Mountain.
Yeah.
You're kind of
Mm.
it's a weird sort of like
Strange,
almost
isn't it? How it just
bunker type building or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
hole in the wall kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah. So
So from that point there, then, yeah, well, I suppose you haven't got access to your bag, have you? So that was like in the way distant past, wasn't it? When you get to Hebden and you have to make your decision there about what you're going to take with you from there.
yeah.
Um, and then even that you can be it's so many hours from there that you can be regretting what you've chosen to take with you and
Yeah.
um,
I think you really need ideally make that decision before you even start the race and just say this. I mean,
set it out. Yeah.
at least the base decision of like this is what I'm going to grab, and then
Mm,
these might be the extras I grab if I'm in a
mm,
like if I'm in a bit of a deficit, or these are the things I might drop off if I've got extra food or something. But that I mean that's another a thing looking back on it. Especially for Challenger South, because you only have that one. Again, in full spine, you've got so many decisions to make at all the different checkpoints. In Challenger South, you've only got
yeah.
Hebden where you need to make a decision. So just make the
Mm,
decision before the race.
mm,
Um, and then you don't need to think and faff when you're there. Um,
that's a
so
good idea, that is. Yeah, that's a great
yeah,
idea. Mm. What do you do then? Do you sort of put everything into like a bag so that that's it, you grab it and you're gone, that kind of thing?
that's what I will do. I didn't do that this past, well, 2 years ago. I definitely was more on the faffy side. So I think I did have a general plan that like I was going to take. I had a sort of like rubber band around a bunch of nutrition that I wanted to take, but then I had a lot of extra stuff that I was trying to decide, and I did spend a long time faffing, and then they give you your hot meal there, and then you've got to get kit checked before you go out. I'll try and do that more efficiently because you can lose a lot of time there, I think.
How long were
Um,
you in that checkpoint then? Considering that you won the race by 2 hours, how long were you in
I
Hebden?
think I think I was
2 hours.
maybe in there 20 minutes. I was in there longer than I would have than I should have been because I thought I'd lost my rear red flashing light. I couldn't find it anywhere, and then there were like conversations being had at the checkpoint about whether I was going to be penalized or not, or what was going to happen. And then there were other people trying to find a spare red light for me. And then it just appeared. It had come off of my bag and it had somehow like attached itself to my hood. Um, so I like took off the bag and then all of a sudden I see this like blinking on my shoulder and I was like, oh, there it is, thank God. But yeah, I was genuinely worried that they were going to penalize me. So
Mm,
there were some tense moments there. I mean, it was probably only 10 minutes that I was waiting for that to get sorted out, but I maybe lost a little bit of time worrying about that. Um, but yeah, I think I was there for 20 minutes, something like that, 15,
yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing, is it? Um, how will you sort of be with the competition then? So if everybody turns up on the day, Jack's there and Mark's there. I know obviously you know Mark well, don't you? So
Yes.
what you don't have to reveal race tactics, but
Yes.
how will you approach the race if if they if they because in my head I can see the two of them like going head to head right from the start, a blistering pace sort of thing. What do you do? Do you go with them? Do you stick with them? Do you hold back? How are you going to run it?
I mean, yeah, I would love to if to be with them for a bit, if the pace is comfortable enough. Because
Mm,
I mean, I don't really know Jack, but actually he seems like very sensible with his pacing. Like
mm. Yeah, he holds
um,
back when he needs to. Yeah.
exactly. I
Mm,
mean, when he set the record,
mm.
he slowed down, didn't he, and
Yeah.
let people go ahead. Um, but granted, if he's going for that record, even sensible pacing is going to probably be at the limit of, well, it depends on how much he wants to beat the record by and what the conditions are like and that sort of thing. Like if conditions are bad, we may just sort of be forced to run in a bit of a group,
Mm,
because to try and run off the front if it's like really bad conditions, then that would not really make a whole lot of sense. Um, but yeah, I'd love to run with them, but realistically, I have to. It's a very long race, and I know that the way for me to run the best possible time is to run my own race. So I I could see myself spending a bit of the beginning of the race with them, but I may have to let them go after that. But I'm not just saying, oh, I'm just going to go let them win. That's
mm.
not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying, on paper, if we're all having a good race, that's probably going to end up with me behind them. But if they're having a bad day or they come, conditions are bad and one of them's struggling or something, you never know what can happen in a very long race. So
Yeah.
I'm not
And
putting myself up.
and especially in the in the spine,
Yeah,
anything can happen. It's not just like any old race, is it?
exactly. Um, yeah, because again, I think we talked about it in our last chat, but you've also got the element of all the weight that you're carrying, which makes it quite a different race. Um, you might have to be dealing with more kit than
Mm.
most
It's been
races.
cut
Like
down. It's been cut down a little bit, though, hasn't it?
yeah, it has. I need to look in detail at the new
Yeah,
kit
no,
list. I've heard that it's been cut down a bit.
yeah,
Like
no
the
stove. Yeah, I know that you
yeah,
don't have to carry a stove, so that's
yeah,
like a not that they were particularly heavy anyway. It's just like a gas bottle, isn't it, and then a tiny little burner and stuff. But it's one
yeah.
less thing to be packing in your bag, isn't it?
Exactly. The gas takes up space, doesn't it? And
Mm.
then the handheld GPS
Yeah,
device
yeah,
that's
yeah.
no longer a thing. And
Mm.
I mean, when I did it, I was using my mate James's GPS, and it was bulky, It was like two AA batteries in it, and it was like
Mm.
a sort of
The lump, isn't it, that you've got to have handy. Mm.
exactly. So if you combine that and the stove, that's actually a significant difference. And yeah, hats off to them for like changing a little bit because, yes, it is an adventure race, and I know that they're kind of like they're quite attached to that kit list, and they've maybe taken some flack for it. But uh, yeah, I'm glad that they've made those changes. They've kept the general like ethos of it, but I mean, the stoves did seem a little crazy for Challenger South, so I'm glad they've taken that off.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely for South, you wouldn't think that you'd need it. I mean, when I did the full, I still didn't use it. There was no point
Yeah.
when I thought, but you could imagine a situation where you could use it, but it'd be mostly just for keeping yourself warm if you were like stuck somewhere or you weren't having a good time and you were like holed up in a toilet or something and you wanted to keep warm. Could imagine
Yeah.
could imagine using it then, definitely. But the idea
Yeah.
of stopping and making food on the fly, like boiling up a load of water and making a pot noodle, was like that doesn't even come into your mind, does it?
No. Yeah. Again, there might be some, if you get a certain type of injury or something, maybe in a very like specific circumstance, it could be helpful, but you can't have everything for all eventualities. And
Yeah. Yeah.
So most of the time you're probably better off just like if you can get down low somewhere and sort yourself out there and undercover as opposed to like trying to
Mm.
make yourself a cup of tea up on the hill. But that's coming from someone who does not have a lot of survival experience. So probably don't listen to me. That's just me complaining about race kit.
I did enjoy the chili noodles at Greg's Hut, so I could understand
Mm,
the pull of having noodles when you're cold. Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Yeah. Never been that far, but one day I'll get to
Yeah,
Greg's Hut. Yeah.
yeah, next year.
Don't know about that. Don't know about that.
Never say never. Um, so what are you going to be doing between now and January then, as far as training is concerned? What have you dialed in with exactly what you're doing? Have you got any more races that you're doing just like sort of to leapfrog onto that, or are you focusing solely on it?
So, I'm not going to do any more races, I don't think. If I do anything, it'll be like a short, might do like a 5K, 10K just for fun or something. Um, I'm going back to the States for a good chunk of December. My parents are still in the
Mm,
States. So I'm going to um, go stay there. But where my parents live, they have like a very nice gym attached to their sort of like retirement facility. So I will be sweating hard on the like the retirement home gym, using their treadmill, and it'll be really cold where I am. So my parents are in Iowa in the Midwest, so it will be far colder than it will
mm.
be on Spine. So that should be good training. Um,
Is it fairly? Is it like flat farmland, Iowa? That's the way I
Yeah, it
imagine
is.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It is fairly flat, but luckily, uh, I'll be staying like right next to a park.
Mm,
It's not a very big park, so I'm going to have to do some very repetitive laps of this slightly hilly park called Hickory Hill Park, in my hometown. So I'll use that. Should be hopefully a little bit snowy and stuff, so that'll be nice. Um, so yeah, and I'll try and get used to carrying the weight a bit,
mm,
um, and and yeah, just kind of carry on with my standard training. I get, and this will also come down to whatever what what Sarah's sort of recommending I do as well. We haven't talked too much about what I'm going to be doing for the next sort of 6 weeks, but I'm
mm,
sure she's got ideas, and we're very much. It's not like she just tells me what to do. We kind of have a discussion and
mm,
talk. I talk about what I think I need, and she'll say what she thinks I need, and we'll kind of meet somewhere in the middle
mm.
and mix and match. So that's been really cool.
I
So
suppose I suppose nobody really has got perfect like circumstances to train for the spine, have they? Like, unless you literally live, on the course or you're in the lakes.
yeah,
A lot of people are just training just in places completely opposite to the spine, aren't they?
yeah, and yeah, you don't need to. I mean, I think some familiarity with the Pennine Way is very helpful, but you don't
Mm.
have to be on the Pennine Way all the time to be ready to
Mm.
run the Pennine Way, um, because yeah, none of it's like particularly technical, or it's got some sort of hilly mountainous bits to it, but you can prepare for a lot of that in lots of different parts of the world. Yeah, you do need to get some hills in, and you need to get used to carrying that weight, I think.
Mm.
So might try and work on my pathetic upper body strength a little bit. And yeah, just try and up the volume a bit, but try and also keep some quality in. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um,
What about poles? How do you sort of approach racing with poles and training with poles?
Good question. I'm leaning towards no poles. I might put them in my drop bag. I mean, I could definitely imagine that poles would have been helpful for the last well, from Malham Tarn to the end, going up Fountain
Yeah.
Fell, Fountains Fell, and then Penny Ghent and stuff. Like those climbs, you could definitely use poles, and my legs were pretty done at that point. Most of the route, though, I don't know that they would help me that much. And I'm not like a very good pole user. I think for full spine, it's pretty clear now that you should use them. It seems like everyone who wants to do well is going to use poles in full spine. Challenger South, it's a bit more on the edge. I'll be interested to hear what other people do.
It's almost like you could do with them literally having them picking them up at Malham Tarn. That's where it'd be like ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, from Hebden, it's a little bit early. I mean, there are some decent climbs where you could use them from Hebden. So I don't know. Again, it would be good to just have a plan that you stick to, so you're not like making the decision at Hebden Bridge, but maybe I'll put them in there just in case. And if the legs are feeling bad, I'll take them, something
Mm,
like that.
yeah.
What about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah. See, I'm not opposed to what I'm trying to get out of is going into my spine mode that I go into because I've done the fall and I've did Challenger North. There's a difference between so when I did like the sprint, I've done this like the summer sprint a couple of times, and obviously I wouldn't use poles for that, like Edel to Hebden Bridge. So my thinking is that because I don't want to go into my just it's like almost like a preset. I get my poles out and I'm in spine mode, and which
Yeah.
means invariably that it's slow, and I don't want to be slow because I'm thinking
Yeah.
I'm not in it for 180 miles. I'm not in it for 268. This is
Yeah.
it's got to be somewhere in between from what I know that I can run from Edel to Hebden at a decent pace. And I
Yeah.
don't want to slow myself down by having poles and just going instantly into that mode. So I think what
Yeah.
I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my poles up at Hebden,
Yeah.
um, and then see how I go with them. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely be at some point. I'll definitely be back in that mode at some
Yeah.
point with the race
Yeah.
spine mode.
Yeah, I think most of us will, to be fair. Maybe those two guys out front, maybe they'll just sprint the whole thing. But
Well,
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see if Mark's actually gonna wear like leggings or tights or trousers this time after he wore shorts.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess again, it depends on conditions, but yeah, I wouldn't think many years you want to go with shorts for spine for
No,
fun.
no,
No.
that was he was a brave man. Yeah. Some would say, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe not brave.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Um, what are your plans post Spine Challenger South then? Are you thinking about next year? Have you got anything booked in?
Yeah, so I've got a few races booked in. I mean, so one thing I'll kind of shoehorn in here is that I'm sort of on the verge of trying to sort of soft launch a bit of coaching.
Oh,
So I
nice.
haven't really made this public yet. So this you're hearing it here
Exclusive.
first. Indeed.
Exclusive.
So I've been coaching a few people that I sort of know for the last few months and sort of talking to other coaches. Um, but yeah, going to try and make that a bit of a thing.
Mm,
So I think it'll hopefully like evolve slowly. So that's a big plan of mine. But then beyond that, what am I racing? I'm doing 100 hills.
mm.
So another Centurion race, 50K. So that's in, when is that? March, I think.
Early on, is
Early
it?
March. Yeah, something like that. So definitely want to like recover properly after Challenger because it that took quite a bit out of me last time I did it. So yeah, 100 hills in March. I'm going to do the 70K. It's technically 69K, but yeah, 70K race at Istria, UTMB
Oh
Istria.
yeah. Mm,
Um, and then sort of yeah, big target will be South Downs Way 100, which I
Nice.
think will be a really cool race. Looks like it's going to be again really competitive this year. Maybe not so much playing to my strengths. I mean that race is often quite warm and very um, but I was there pacing Mark a bit last year or
Mm.
this year, and it was just such a cool experience to be a part of that I was like, I need to come back to this race. I did do that race in 2021 and had a real rough go of it. So I'll be, I mean, I better do better than that. I mean, unless I DNF, I would think that I'll at least improve my time on 2021. And then I'm also in for Lakeland 50. So that's quite a busy calendar for the first six
Mm.
months of the year. Beyond that, I haven't got
Yeah.
anything planned,
Mm.
but
That's exciting. The coaching will keep you busy as well, then, won't it? So have you have you got like a set amount of people that you're going to be taking on? So if people are like watching or listening to this and they're like, I want Dad to be my coach, what are you?
I haven't got a set amount at the moment. It will definitely be limited at the moment because I'm working full time as well, and
Mm.
I want to do it properly. I don't want to just yeah, I don't want to sort of do a half-assed job of it. So so yeah, I'll have to see. I mean, I'll have to see how much interest there is and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm excited about it. So um, yeah, there's no sort of set number in mind at the moment. I'll just kind of, and yeah, I'm kind of working on like getting things like my website set up and just trying to finalize all of that. So it is incoming, but yeah, like I said, this is my first sort of public announcement of it.
Mm. Exciting. Right, I'll make sure that I plaster that all over social media then that
Oh,
we've
thank you, mate.
got
I
the
appreciate
got the
it.
exclusive.
Yeah, yeah. I also, as I'm shoehorning things in, I also just want to say, because I haven't actually made it clear, I didn't win Wendover Woods. I was absolutely thrashed. I wasn't, th I mean, I had a great race, but Joe Turner had an absolutely insane race where he
Mm.
almost set the course record. So the fact that I haven't mentioned him yet, I should have mentioned him.
Yeah,
I
we should have mentioned him. Yeah,
yeah,
both of us should have
I
mentioned him.
barely even saw him in the race, to be honest. I saw him for about the first half mile, and he's a very strong flat runner. Like his sort of easy run is like my tempo run on the flat. So I was hoping maybe he would struggle on the hills later on. Um, from what I've read, it sounds like he had some cramp in the last lap, but he didn't seem to be getting just all the reports I was getting. He was just building the gap pretty much throughout the whole race. So he definitely showed me that he's not weak on hills. He's really strong, and I'll be interested to see what he does in the coming years because he's still pretty new to it. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
super good.
He's on my list of people to message to get on. But you were my preference to get you on because it's double whammy. I can get you on about Wendover and I can get you on about the spine. So
Yeah, yeah,
you were priority.
yeah. I'll take that. That's all right. But yeah, I just thought I should mention that. Mention him. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
fair play, fair play.
yeah,
Yeah, excellent. Right, well, it's been great chatting to you again, mate. And the next time I see you will be most likely on the start line at Edale. So
yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll get to share some
I
miles.
doubt it.
Uh, yeah. Well, we'll see.
Maybe the first mile. We'll share the
Yeah,
first mile.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then I'll see you at some point.
yeah. But yeah,
Awesome.
well, thanks for having me back or on for the first time. I'm not sure what we
Second
decided in
time.
the end, but yeah. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, no problem, mate. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things go for you come January. So exciting
Cool.
times. So cheers for coming on, mate, giving us your time, and thanks for listening, everyone. Cheers. Bye bye
Cheers.
bye.